Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us at AdTech's Startup Spotlight Series. My name is Melissa June Rowley. I am a global content creator for Cisco, and I'm also a social impact journalist. I'll be leading the session today, which really means all I'll be doing is keeping time and cutting off the entrepreneurs when their time is up. We've got four really interesting startups who are going to be presenting today to General Mills. And as a way to, basically this competition was started as a way for AdTech to put a spotlight on emerging technology and some of the most interesting, most unique startups that are out there today. So General Mills is going to be looking at uniqueness. They're going to be looking at whether or not these different startups would be entities that they would actually truly invest in. And they'll also be looking at whether or not these particular companies will have a real penetration in American culture in the next 3 years. And I'm just going to hand the mic over to the two judges from General Mills to just give a little background on them.
Hello, I'm Jim Keene. I'm the Director of Interactive Marketing at General Mills in Minneapolis, and this is a great opportunity for us to get closer to the people that are going to be making the future of advertising. And it's a way for us to learn from you and figure out how our brands can stay relevant in a very, very dynamic, changing world. So we're really excited to be here and looking forward to hearing from the speakers.
Yeah, and I'm Jeff Johnson. I work in our food content group where all of our food content's created, and then I run our CRM, our relationship marketing organization at General Mills as well.
And I definitely want everyone to note that the entrepreneurs that are going to be presenting were each given the guidelines that they are going to be presenting as if they would be pitching for real to General Mills and be potentially given a $200,000 budget to work with. The winner will actually get the chance to pitch to General Mills in real life, and they'll also get this, which I'm sure everybody's really excited about. Each presenter will have 7 minutes to present their platform, how it works, why it would be valuable to General Mills, and then the judges will get 3 minutes to fire off some questions in a lightning round type format. After all the presenters have gone, the judges will get, I think, maybe 15 minutes to deliberate. I might be wrong on that. During that time, I'll be fielding questions, and people who have specific questions for the startups can come to the mic and fire away. So let's get started. Our first presenter is Linky. And we have Maria Sipka, who's going to get ready to go now. I'm going to give you a 4-minute signal, and then a 1-minute signal, and a wrap-up signal. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Maria Sipka, and I'm the CEO and co-founder at Linky. Linky is a technology company that helps brands share their stories and content with interest communities across blogs, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and other social channels. The market that we're focusing on is to identify the most active, thriving communities, the top 100,000 that reach over 1 billion people. We're focusing on communities, the mid to long tail of communities that reach anywhere between 10 to 50,000. At Linky, we define a community as an audience that engages around a topic led by passionate individuals such as Melissa Jordan. These people spend anywhere from 10 to 40 hours nurturing their communities across social channels. What makes Linky different to any other social marketing channel out there is firstly and most importantly context. Our audience is hyper-engaged, vertically focused, and contextual in nature. We believe that these people, when they interact with your message and they take an action, they become better customers. Secondly, our pricing model is pay for performance. You're not paying any sponsored fees, any upfront fees. You're purely paying on performance based on a CPA and a CPC model that's benchmarked against Google and Facebook. Third, the campaigns that we've been running, we've found that we're returning at least 4 times the value of the campaign in earned media. Fourth, SEO. The campaigns that we've been running turn up in the first 1 to 3 pages of search results based on campaign topics and key phrases. And finally, scale. We are a technology company, And our discovery and matching engine has the capability to today already reach 100 million people. So what I'm about to show you now is how Linky can be and will be a transformational partner for General Mills, in particular their social marketing initiatives for Yoplait. At the core, we know they're looking to reach women, in particular influential young mums. Secondly, they're looking to engage with a captive audience. What does that mean? How do you cut through the noise? How do you get beyond a like or a glimpse of an eye? How do you secure an emotional footprint with your audience? And finally, crowdsourcing these ideas from hundreds, if not thousands of communities is going to surface ideas. So how do you then implement them into your other channels? So I'm going to go through a demo, and we've selected Yoplait Greek and Yoplait Light, which we feel is very appropriate for the influential young mums category. And we've prepared 6 campaigns to focus on spreading the So Goodness initiative, as well as helping to fight breast cancer. So we're going to go now live into the campaign panel. You can see that we've created 6 draft campaigns. We'll start off with first selecting communities. So based on, we've broken up this $200,000 budget with an $80,000 campaign, a $40,000 campaign, and 6 $20,000 campaigns. For Greek yogurt, the So Goodness, this is an $80,000 campaign. So we start out by searching for communities. This process normally takes weeks, if not months, for agencies and brands to do themselves, and we do it in seconds. So, is this going to work? Okay. Okay, for some reason the internet's not working here. So in the top right-hand corner, we've already pre-selected and matched this particular campaign with 203 communities. These 203 communities reach an audience of close to 3.5 million highly engaged mums. The budget's $80,000. So I spoke about how we're a performance-based platform. We're guaranteeing to deliver at least 35,000 people to a key destination. If we under-deliver on that, then the brand only pays for the traffic we deliver. If we over-deliver on that, then the brand's budget is capped, and anything above that is earned. The second step is to pitch the idea. If you're going to send a message to over 200 community leaders, how can you get your message across in the most concise way? So you describe the campaign, how it's going to benefit the audience. You're able to use this as a planning tool, so you can tee up your campaign to start on, say, the 1st of May. Campaigns run for a minimum of 2 weeks and a maximum of 1 month, and you state what the objectives are. Communities want to be aligned to the objectives of the brand. The final stage is to upload content. So content distribution is something that brands are really looking to get out there beyond their own channels. So here we have the option to upload a series of approved content. By the time that brands come to Linky, they really have that need to distribute. They've already got their content, they've already got their campaign in mind. So we add a series of supporting text. Communities will use this to craft their stories. There's text links, there's image links. And at this stage, we're ready to launch the campaign. So at the time of launching the campaign, we can preview that we're going to be our audience reach, our budget. As soon as we click launch, every single one of those 203 communities starts to receive a message from Linky saying, hey, Yoplait want to engage with your community around this story, around So Goodness. So let's have a look at what unfolds. Within minutes, tweets start appearing. Within a day, there's hundreds of Facebook stories. There's blog stories. 60% of communities have already shared blog stories in the first 3 days. There's pin boards and repins. Sentiment is extremely positive. And SEO, start searching for the results, and within the first few days, the stories start appearing in the first page of search results. So what I'll focus on here is that this particular campaign, with the $200,000, reached over 500 communities. There were a total of close to 8,000 stories that were shared. 33,000 people engaged with those stories by liking, commenting. We calculated the earned media to be $765,000 based on the total budget and the total reach. Here are examples of the brands that we're working with. Time. Sorry, I guess I...
No. Questions from the judges?
Yeah, I got one. So when you are talking about communities, what's the difference between an influential blogger and a community? Because intuitively you think a community is going to be more valuable than just a blogger with a good audience. So can you talk about how you define the community?
Yeah, so the industry is very familiar with the term blogger outreach because a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, that was really the primary channel that individuals used to communicate. When Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram really became mainstream, these individuals, because they spend so much time wanting to grow their audience, they were going wherever the audience was. So it's no longer just about influential bloggers. These individuals have become community leaders because they're now engaging with their audience and bringing them into the conversation.
Is this really a self-service tool? It's designed just so that we can do this on our own, or is the expectation that an agency partner or somebody else would manage it on the outside, or you guys would manage it for us?
Yeah, so as you can see, it's intended to be a self-service tool. It's very simple. It takes 10 minutes to launch a campaign, a few minutes a day to manage. Because we're activating hundreds of these campaigns, we know what works and what doesn't work. So at this early stage, we are working very closely with brands as they're adjusting to this new channel. But the purpose is for it to be self-service so that the local coffee shop in San Francisco can use it and a big brand like General Mills can activate hundreds of campaigns.
So we've seen some instances of program or tools that are similar to this. And some of our brands are starting to back off because the bloggers or the communities that they're working with are starting to kind of get filled with spam. So how do you manage quality control so that bad guys don't put a bunch of stuff out there that's low value to the communities that you're trying to support?
You're talking about the brands putting low value?
Yeah.
So it's a permission-based marketing platform. Both the communities can select which brands that they want to partner with, and both the brands can select which communities. But
the brands or the communities are going to be sort of incented to take more, right? Because is it a rev share?
It is. It's a rev share. We split a percentage of the revenue with the communities. Yes.
Okay. But so is there any sort of gating or governance from your group that manages the quality or helps to manage the quality?
Yeah, so right now we're vetting both communities and we're vetting both brands. We are only interested in partnering brands that stand for something and have a phenomenal story to share.
Okay. Last one from me. How does the targeting and the selection work of the people that apply to be part of the program? Do they get rated over time, or how do we get to choose who we go with? You had the 200 example. Like, who do we pick?
So the way that what makes us different is that we have a discovery and matching engine. So we don't wait for communities to come to us and go, hey, we want to be part of Linky. We go out into the millions of communities that are out there and we self-select and invite them to participate based on your brand and based on your campaign. Once they participate in a campaign, we then track the results in terms of the traffic that they drive, the quality of stories that they create, so you're able to really manage the quality aspect of having a longer sustaining relationship with these communities that really deliver results for you.
I got one last question, sorry. Last question, that'll be, we'll take it offline, but I'll just ask it because it might be useful. So the assets that we put out there are tagged so that you can keep track of the reach. Do those tags come down at a certain point, or are they tagged for good once those assets have been distributed out to the audience?
Exactly. So once we distribute assets, it's living, it's breathing, it has a conversation around it. So once your campaign actually finishes, say you've had a series of video links and web links, then when a campaign finishes, we're continuing to track for you what that long tail of traffic is. We're seeing 10% month on month in earned traffic, and so we don't take those links down. You can continue to track it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all set?
Yes, next up we have Bill Flitter with Deliver It.
All right, my name is Bill Flitter, and thank you, General Mills, for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. So just a little bit about me to set the stage here. I have 15 plus years of online marketing experience. I'm a 3-time entrepreneur, of course, the founder of Deliver It. I frequently speak on the idea of content syndication and content marketing technologies. When I'm not working, I coach basketball, and I'm a Packer fan and newly shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, so pretty excited about that. Quick agenda. I'm just going to introduce Deliver It. I'm going to go through a couple trends and then, of course, talk about how Deliver It's going to help YoPlay. At Deliver It, we have one simple mission. It's a big mission, but it's a simple mission, and that is to distribute the world's content. And content is key to building modern brands. It's the lifeblood of a great brand. And no truer is this statement today. We've all been hearing that brands need to be publishers, but brands aren't equipped to be publishers, right? That's an entire infrastructure. Content distribution is extremely messy. Attention is scattered and fragmented, right? We consume media in 5-minute chunks of time. And that attention is scattered across Facebook, Twitter, apps, mobile, websites. But Deliver It, we simplify that, right? We help brands create awareness through earned, owned, and paid media by leveraging their existing content. And we do this for over 350,000 businesses today who distribute about 2.5 million stories a day. And we distribute those stories to about 600 million fans. And that ranges from top brands like Cisco, SAS, REI, Travelocity, Groupon. And that equates to about 3 billion content deliveries every day. So scalability is there. So how are we going to help YoPlay? Well, as you guys know, we need to seek deeper engagement outside the banner. And to be successful with moms today, it means being welcomed into mom's activity streams. She's going to websites. She's going to mobile. She's searching, right? And she's using social. So it's not just social we need to think about. We need to think about distributing that content across all mom's activity streams. And with over 50% of moms sharing branded content, it's worth the effort to reach her across those multiple touch points. But moms don't find content by accident. We need to help them discover it. So how do we do that? We have a simple goal, again, is to amplify YoPlay's content to moms in their target set. But not only does Deliver It streamline this entire process, it's a self-serve system, but we also help reduce your media cost. And we do that by looking at your earned and owned media performance to help us make smart paid media decisions. So now we know precisely what to distribute and who to distribute it to. Okay? And we're a complete scalable solution. We make that content searchable, snackable, and shareable. Okay? So what we do is we start with your existing content, your assets, your blog posts, your videos, your pictures, and we assemble that into a dynamic landing page. Okay? And all you provide us is a URL to get started. The URL of where that blog was hosted or the piece of content was created, or you can manually upload that content to our system. Then we match the display of that content. We break it down into different chunks depending on where it's going. And we'll go through some examples next. With moms on the go, it's important to make the content mobile friendly. So we take that page and we make sure that it's seen on mobile and can be interactive and is formatted correctly for the mobile device. We make everything search friendly. We submit all the content to the search engines, pictures, videos, etc. And of course, social friendly. We add Twitter cards. We submit the content to Facebook's Open Graph. We share it on your feeds, our feeds, or partner publishers' feeds. And we make that content discoverable on websites as part of the editorial. We also share it across blogs and websites as full-page placements. 53% of moms are active on blogs, so it's very important that we reach that audience. We believe in simple metrics, actionable metrics, that you guys can take a look at and make real-time decisions on the fly. So we analyze the content, what's worked, right? What's getting shares, what's getting likes, what's even getting sales, or whatever the conversion metric you're looking for. And then social insight, total social impressions and fan increase. And then a page engagement on that landing page that lives on stories.deliverite. And all the data is available online at your fingertips. And all the media placements that we do are backed by a custom media plan. So you tell us what audience you're looking to reach. We go and we create a media plan for you. And it is CPC and CPM based. So when we syndicate headlines, you're paying on a CPC. If we're doing some of our dynamic display ads or full page articles, that's on a CPM. So the platform, the Deliverite platform, the self-service platform, drives improvements in the amount of time spent, content produced, and traffic generated. We have proven lift in engagement, social impressions, page views, search results, and, of course, conversion. All right, so Deliverite's going to get your content in front of moms wherever they are online. Questions, gentlemen?
I'll start. The pages that you're packaging, like if we upload assets to this thing,
Yep.
are we assembling that and packaging that, or is that something that happens on your side?
Either or. You can work with our management team, or you can go into the online version and just enter your URL, and we import the content.
From the work that you've done today, are there any indicators of this type of content seems to perform the best versus other types of content?
Of course, visual content works really, really nicely. If you add a picture or story, if you build that page out with your Twitter and Facebook, we can add that on there as well.
So if I'm tracking the base unit here that a brand like Yoplait would be focused on would be essentially like the landing page. Everything starts with what you put into that landing page
Exactly.
and gets distributed from that.
Correct.
So the brand would be able to create numerous pages, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Each one either being like the beginning of a campaign or some sort of media-driven sort of effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that landing page kind of self-optimize over time based on what gets the best performance out in distribution?
Exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of weeds itself out if it's content that's not resonating with your audience, right, or with the prospects. Then yes.
So is this sort of a time? Do the brands that work best on this platform sort of look at this as sort of a time-based thing? Like, I'm going to create a landing page, I'm going to put some media behind it for a certain, X number of days or X number of weeks, or is it more of like an always-on, always building incremental reach kind of an effort?
So, it works both ways. We have people that are building one story at a time, maybe once a week, and we also just signed a 2-year contract with a brand that'll be using this platform to send out quite a few stories every week. So the links can either live, or the pages can live permanently, or we can take those down depending on which direction you want to go. So that obviously creates ongoing engagement, ongoing SEO.
Who of the businesses that you talked about at the beginning that have used your service the most, like who do you feel like really gets it? Like who do you look at as the pioneer in the space that we could go take a quick look at?
The first one that comes to mind is Business Wire. They're syndicating quite a bit of content on a daily basis and adding images and rich media to those publications. They've seen a 20% lift month over month in page views over the last 3 months.
You said something really interesting at you said a lot of interesting things, but something specifically interesting to me at the beginning of your pitch, where you're talking about
was it the Packer reference? Or?
No, but that was
pretty interesting.
Good Googling.
Yeah.
You mentioned that a tool like this could help brand like Yoplait tune the rest of its paid media efforts. Can you talk about how this could inform, the other millions of dollars a brand like Yoplait spending online?
Yeah, absolutely.
Last question.
Okay, so because we look at it this way, we think about social as a focus group, And we say, you have this budget over here, you have this focus group we call social, right? And you're sending content out there every day. Well, let's take a look at that activity and what's happening in your social and say, okay, we sent out 10 pieces of content into our Twitter or Facebook account. Of that 10, really 3 resonated, right? However you measure, engagement. Let's take those 3 and send that out through paid channels to boost social, to boost our page views, whatever, again, wherever you want to direct that traffic to. Okay? So we want to reduce your media spend by making intelligent decisions based on all activity we have access to. Does that make sense? Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, thank you. Deliver it. Okay, next up we have said Funches with Pixelwise.
Hello, everybody. My name is Said Funches. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer for Pixelwise. Now, Pixelwise is an education-based gaming platform technology. What we do is we take complex subjects and we break them down into curriculum-based lessons, interactive mini games, and we wrap all of that up in a viral loop social game and encourage individuals to go into a community. We built a crazy API to handle all of this stuff, very technical. Everything is built on HTML5 and CSS3, and it's all built on Rails and delivered from a cloud platform. But our most engaging part of our technology is a little something we call this: empathy. The ability for us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and say, hey, you know what, they don't know what they need to know, and teach them, that by far is our best quality of our API. Because it plays into how we see people. It plays into how we see our consumer. Do we just see them as a number? What can I get out of them? Or do we want to see them as an engaged and educated consumer with enough knowledge to make a decision and then go from there? To be honest with you, most people see them like this. What's your lifetime value? What can I get out of you? Did you buy my product? If not, who cares? There's a problem with that. You quickly forget that they're real people. That's the most important part to us. They have real problems, don't have health insurance, don't have the money. And when you only look at them as a number, you forget that they're here. The problem with that is that if you can't see them here and see what value you can get out of them outside of money, and care about them, there's no way you're going to be able to care about them when they're here. What's his lifetime value? Bigger question, do you even care? See, that played into what we were doing with Pixelwise, because really you don't have to look too far for apathy. It's everywhere. So when we made our first product, Leadsville, we had to think about this. You know, how does this brand make new friends? Leadsville is the culmination of what we came up with. When you ask that question, you have to think to yourself, do people only know me for this? Every time they see my ad, are they asking for money? Or are they more concerned about me as a user and my experience? The first product we made was for an ad agency that was looking for a better way to educate their new employees. And so we said, okay, let's start with a platform, web-based platform that has videos and engaging blogs and stories, and there was a problem. Only 8% engagement. Nobody watched the videos. You go past 3 minutes, you got a problem. And so we thought, okay, that's a passive way of learning. Let's come up with a more engaging way of learning, and an engaging way to get people to really, really get involved. And so we turned to social games. Social games are inherently viral. A 75-year-old turns into a 10-year-old when they're playing a social game. They're engaged, they're active, and they want to do it. Out of that, we created Leadsville. Leadsville is the very first game that we built on our PixelWise engine that teaches people real marketing skills while they're playing a social video game. It's engaging, it has a story, it has characters, it has brand value and appeal, and it does it all in the format that really breaks it down so that you can understand it. Don't be misled. It's a game, but you really are learning user acquisition while you're playing Leadsville. And that's important to us because we get a lot of people who give us commendations, and that's awesome, man, that's great. But we also get something that's more important than that. We get thank yous. People who say, thank you for taking the time to create something to teach me something. That's way more valuable to me. But it doesn't stop there. We created a community platform so that individuals, as you're playing the game, you go into this community and it continues your learning, it continues your education. We call that engagement volleying, going back and forth. Play the game, go into a community, share user experiences, and continue your knowledge. A lot of features go into our forum and our community, but the best feature is ask a question in a bully-free environment and get an answer. Share a story in a bully-free environment, get a response. That's what we really want to do because we want people to teach it. We want to teach people a skill, and the way that education is set up now kind of prohibits that. So engagement volleying is very important to us, and it's so important that we have these characters follow you around from the game to the forum to maybe your mobile device. But underneath all of that, we have some real horsepower. We're tracking your every action. We're tracking what decision you made. We're tracking your friends. We're tracking all of these things because it's very important to us because the end goal for PixelWise is that you actually take those real skills that you used and do it in real life. So that brings us to YoPlay. YoPlay is a brand, which is a little bit different than an educational experience, but you guys have a lot of stuff that you want to teach people. And so experiences, if they're great, you share them. If they're not, you share why they're not so great. So we looked at YoPlay's site and said, okay, how can we take some of their experience, mix it with PixelWise's engine, and see what happens? Because right now, customers, they're sharing experiences about what you guys are doing. They're sharing experience about YoPlay right now. Why leave that to chance? So this is YoPlay on the PixelWise engine. We took the exact content that was right on your site, and we created a social game that's all around one of your mini marketing plans. Cut the calories. The whole point is to help defeat Dr. Corn Syrup once and for all. Get that yogurt down to 90 calories. We do this through an engaging video game. 5 minutes a day is all that it takes for someone to get in, learn real skills, real tips, and they share that out. Because it's a social game, you have to ask people for help, and you have to get people engaged. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what you want. You want something that's inherently viral that gets people talking and gets people back to your site for more info. And you never know who's going to share your content. Because if you make it where it needs to be, you make it that this is the place you have to be. That's exactly what people are going to do. We always say this at PixelWise, products are the outcome of the experience you allow people to have. That's it. There's nothing left. You give them a good experience, they will come back. Thanks. My name is Sed. That's PixelWise.
So have you run the game engine on a branded product like that before? Is this like brand new for you guys thinking about it?
This is kind of brand new. You know, our Leadsville game is B2C. So really we engage everyone on a subscription model to get into our platform and learn, continually learn. But as we started looking at it, we said, hey, you know what? This is very easy. I'm very familiar with General Mills. So I said, you know what? It's pretty easy to take their content, great content. I almost lost my mom to cancer. So you guys have actual good content that deserves to get spread virally.
Business model question. Is it like a custom build production kind of a model? Is that how we would buy it? Or is it more of a thing where you build and own the title and we just lease it for a while? How does the business model work?
We're quite flexible since we've never pitched to General Mills before. But I think the best way for us to describe it is that we're building this great suite of tools, and we would give those tools to you to use for your products. Not only that, but the way that we have our API is more drag and drop. You can drag any content into it as long as you have a coordinated message, and then we would give that to our client.
2 other quick follow-ups. Do you guys do the creative services, so you design and build the game?
Yes.
Or would that be something where you'd just be handing a toolbox over to another agency?
No, not at all. Well, we have an internal game development company within Pixelwise, and so we don't focus on large-scale games. We just focus on experiences that teach and educate people this much. And so with our templated system, it's easy for us to create those assets or use individuals' own assets if they have them.
Great. And then related, in terms of audience build, we'd have to go build the audience for this as well, either sending it to our existing fan base or
Correct.
put the media behind it to grow it. Okay.
Correct.
So then the other question I have is, how frequently would you be optimizing the game over time to drive deeper engagement? Because it's got to be something that can't be just build it and deploy, right?
That is very true. Because our game isn't built on Flash, it's built on HTML5. All of the assets within the game that you saw are all able to be split tested. And that's what we do regularly with our game. We split test because we actually want the content to help deliver an outcome. So we split test on what's working, whether it's retention, and we split test and easily switch out the content.
Great. Okay, cool. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you, Pixelwise.
Yeah.
Okay, our final presenter of the afternoon is Dave Oldham with Nuvi app.
Thank you. So I'm Dave Oldham. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nuvi, and we're excited to be here as a finalist for the General Mills Social Media Engagement Challenge. We appreciate you guys putting this together for us. I have to say I'm a huge fan of bro play, so I'm excited to get engaged with you guys. We'd really love to work on that product with you. But more seriously, Nuvi is a real-time social analytics and engagement engine that runs in a browser. Nuvi reveals the stories being told by vast amounts of data in real time. It uncovers insights and makes the data actionable and understandable for marketing, advertising, and communications decision makers. Nuvi also analyzes conversations from a geographic perspective in real time at street-level detail. And Nuvi also analyzes trending themes, emotional categories, and keywords using natural language processing. Nuvi is a world-class monitoring and measurement platform for social media. We help brands formulate their campaign strategy, then measure the effectiveness of the campaign once we launch it. Nuvi was born out of a digital creative agency called Struck, and our team built the visualization layer for the Gatorade Mission Control. Nuvi measures the impact and effectiveness of marketing efforts in social and digital channels. And we analyze things like sentiment, reach, spread, and we allow you to interact and engage with customers one-on-one in real time. For example, last week there was a tweet from Healthy Tips that talked about Greek yogurt as a fat-burning alternative, which was retweeted by none other than Honey Boo Boo, which increased the spread 20 times. And so for a few hours, that conversation was extremely viral, and we were tracking that entire conversation. So we keep track of data about the individuals who are participating in the conversations in order to identify the top influencers who are leading the conversation and impacting the value of your brand. We've been very lucky to work with some of the best agencies out there, and in conjunction with those agencies, some of the world's largest brands. We also recently just announced a partnership with Business Wire to track and monitor all of the conversations in social media around the press releases that they're issuing for their clients. So here's some examples of where Nuvi is currently in action. We're being used by a global shoe brand to craft all of their online social campaign strategies. We have a major agency which is creating social personas and tracking engagement and response to different targeted messages for consumer goods brands. There was a global financial institution that's a customer of Nuvi that was alerted to and successfully prepared for an online security threat. And we have a multinational web hosting company that's identifying leads and customer support opportunities in real time. And a nonprofit organization recently created an online game and a campaign to educate public about sustainable tuna fishing based on insights that it got from the Nuvi platform. So our proposal to Uplay is to create a social media command center with Nuvi as the centerpiece technology to help you identify and gain insights for how you want to execute your campaigns, the messaging and the strategies and the target markets, and then measure the effectiveness of those campaigns once they've been launched. So you could effectively use Nuvi in conjunction with some of the other platforms that you've seen here today. So we're kind of in the beginning and on the end. We think that Nuvi can be used for Yoplay to engage influencers in real time one-on-one, which you've done successfully starting with Yoplay, Sarah. Inform new creative ideas for your print and online, respond to questions and customer concerns in real time, analyze product feedback, and discover and exploit competitor weaknesses. Investment in Nuvi extends well beyond a single campaign. It can become an ongoing integral tool to help Yoplay accomplish your social media objectives, as well as using it for bigger parts of the General Mills family. So we've been monitoring Yoplay for the past week or two, and we've uncovered some interesting insights already. There are a lot of males engaged around Yoplay conversation, a lot of them talking about taste and yogurt as a meal replacement. There's a lot of social couponing. You know that already, but it's interesting to see who the influencers are and who's behind that social couponing. There's some interesting product feedback with respect to some of the packaging and the Greek flavors and taste options and other products that are going into the yogurt. And then there was some interesting campaign feedback recently related to women being flaky, or the advertisements showing women being flaky because they're thinking about calories instead around the hashtag not buying it. So Nuvi can empower Yoplay to accomplish its engagement goals and could be used by the broader General Mills family in a similar fashion. We'll also help Yoplay keep a close eye on your competition in real time, and we'll analyze your performance across the social media channels that you publish content in. We'll track which content and which individuals are impacting the business objectives outlined by Yoplay for all of your social media campaigns. So we'd love to work with General Mills and Yoplay. Check us out at nuviapp.com. You can also text the word Nuvi to the number 62626 to watch a little demo video on your phone. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Quick question on your data sources. Is part of your secret sauce any unique data, or are you using generally syndicatable data and you've just got, I shouldn't say just, but you've got an analytic engine on top of that?
Yeah, we don't get access to any different or unique data that other similar platforms like ours get access to. We get the entire Twitter fire hose. We have access to everything public on Facebook or Facebook through your authorized login. All of the other social channels that any other analytics platform could get access to, we have access to. So our secret sauce is the analytics that we're doing, the visualization of the data, and then the architecture. Our platform is designed to actually be able to plug into other components in the marketing workflow.
Okay, so the business arrangement would be something like a subscription to the tool and then some sort of professional services layer on top of it?
Yep, exactly.
Great. So which client have you seen sort of take this the furthest? You know, both the tool that's available and the insights that you're generating.
It's a good question. We actually have some really, really cool stories. Most of the brands have kind of put us under an embargo right now because they see Nuvi as a really competitive advantage and they don't want a lot of their competitors finding out about it yet. We're kind of getting to the point where it's becoming more and more public, so we're going to be able to start telling some of those. But We've had a couple of really big agencies use Nuvi effectively to craft their online strategies to begin with and then to measure those after the fact. And from a consumer goods standpoint, it's mainly been shoes and retail goods. I don't have a specific example in the food category yet.
Have you installed a multi-brand solution? I'm just thinking about, clearly it's a Yoplait focused project, but even within Yoplait, there's a bunch of different brands in there, and how do you start to try and tease that apart in an organization like ours with a ton of brands? Yeah,
it's a great question. Nuvi can be very, very detailed. You can follow a lot of different topics that you want to monitor, and it can be as detailed as a single hashtag that you want to monitor from a campaign perspective. You can monitor individual brands and then compare those brands both from an internal perspective and then competitive brands against each other. And then you could roll that up even to like General Mills looking at all of the family of brands and how they're performing collectively across social media.
So it feels like a pretty crowded space that you guys are in. Is it really the visualization and just the fact that the data's there for somebody to actually act on that is the key differentiator? I mean, we use Crimson Hexagon and a bunch of other stuff across the org, and it's just like, okay, what's unique here?
Yeah, I think it's the visualizations, really. It's the fact that, from the Gatorade project, the thing that people loved about it was that non-analytical types could look at the data and make instant decisions in real time. It's the type of thing that would empower a brand to do the Oreo thing right in the middle of the Super Bowl without having to do a ton of analysis for it. We weren't involved in that, so I don't want to misrepresent that. But that's the capability of the system, is real-time decision-making for non-analytical types.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Really impressive, diverse group of companies presented today. I'm going to give the judges 5 minutes to deliberate, and during that time, audience members can ask questions if you have any.
Where's my little tally list? I'm going to probably do this in the wrong order, so I'll tell you who the ultimate winner is in a moment. But I'll start on my tally sheet from right to left. So pixel-wise, we really like the engine, and I think there's something really interesting there about using games as a way to deliver a message. I think that is an area that a brand like Yoplait or any of the General Mills brands will really need to tap in the next couple of years. And when done really well, it's a great way to make the experience for the consumer better and make it a lot of fun. And you can deliver that experience of the brand through the experience of a game. And we thought that was a really interesting pitch. And just from a business model, I think having a platform where you can plug and play content and optimize it over time is a really smart way to go at it. I think that you might want to think about tuning that business towards brands because there's something there. So on the deliberate side, it's clearly a need that brands are going to have as we embrace the idea of being publishers. So there's a ton of applicability in what you guys are trying to do there. And there's something really compelling about having an always-on tool that allows us to get our content distributed across a variety of different platforms. And what I really tuned in on was specifically how it could help us get the right kind of content to put in our paid media. So calling it a bit of a tool for a focus group in a real-time way in social media, I think is a really nice way to pitch it to brands like us. And I think just acknowledging that this is a relatively small investment, but it makes the rest of your paid media investment work even harder is a really smart way to pitch it. So that really spoke to us. And then Linky, did I pronounce that right? That these are the kinds of things that a lot of brands are trying to do. How do we become a relevant part of an important conversation with influential community leaders is something that all of our brands are trying to do. We've had the luxury, frankly, of being able to shotgun our message across the airwaves for 50 years with TV, and we don't have that luxury as much anymore. Well, we still do, but it's not as effective as it used to be. So the place that you're playing is a really critical place for brands to be, and we think that there's something very, very positive there. And a lot of brands like us that have tried this have not probably been as successful, maybe because of the way that we've gone at it. And the kind of offering that you have, I think, gives brands like us a chance to be actually useful. And that's sort of the sweet spot to play in. And the Nuvi team, you're right, the visuals really, really speak to brands like us, because the marketers that are on brands like YoPlay, you might be surprised to find out that the actual marketing and brand building is a relatively small percentage of their job every day. They're walking in from meetings where they're talking about supply chain issues or sales issues or customer issues or product issues, and then they have to make decisions about how do you put money behind the brand, and the tools that you're providing make it super easy to absorb a lot of information very, very quickly. Information's very actionable, so there's something very, very positive there. In the sort of the dynamic approach to the real-time information was really, really powerful. But ultimately, we decided to give is this the first inaugural trophy, by the way? Third? All right, well, third. The ultimate winner is going to go to Linky. We've seen a number of these efforts to play with influential bloggers, but I think the way that you're going at it around a community and how do you make the community better is really, I think, a differentiated proposition. I think the idea of having the content out there in an always-on way post-campaign is a really powerful thing for us, and we thought that was a differentiator. And I think in terms of being able to drive an impact in culture, whether it's just the online publishing culture or the culture of bloggers or the culture of community builders, I think you have an opportunity to do that as well. So we think that there's a lot of opportunity, and we're looking forward to have you come in and talk to the YoPlay team. If you can get to Minneapolis, we can get you the audience. All right, well, wait till summer. It's gorgeous.
I'm honored, thank you.
Great. Did you have anything?
You want to talk about the other guys, too?
Oh, we think there's an opportunity to have a couple of you guys come. We'd love to have you pitch. So if you can make it to Minneapolis, we'd love to have you all pitch essentially to various parts of the organization. So for the Pixelwise guys, I think as we look at some of the ways that some of our kids brands are trying to play in the gaming space, there's a very clear opportunity for you to talk to us and our agencies. And Nuvi, we'd love to talk about building up a command center for YoPlay and a couple other brands and figure out what that looks like. And the Deliver It project is something that I think we'd actually have a couple brands that could do something with almost immediately, and we'd like to talk about how to explore it. So super valuable for us. Hope that doesn't screw up your program.
No, I think this will be the first ad tech where everyone's a winner. I mean, everyone is ultimately a winner anyway, but this is the first startup session I've hosted 2 now where the brand said, actually, we'd like for you all to come in and talk to various departments in the company. So I think that's really interesting, and it says a lot about the deliberating that ad tech was doing to get these particular 4 companies here, and it says a lot about emerging technology and innovation that's out there right now.
And it could say something about Minnesota, where everyone's above average, and we want to assume everyone's.
You're the
a winner,
healthiest
so.
and fittest state, I think. I think you're number 1.
Yes.